Hey, everyone! Welcome back to the channel, where we dive deep into all things Marvel and beyond. Today, we're talking about one of the most highly anticipated films in the Marvel Universe, Venom 3: The Last Dance. Whether you're a hardcore Venom fan or new to the symbiote craze, this movie has everyone talking. So, let's get into the predictions, trailer breakdown, Easter eggs, and how this film connects to the wider Marvel Universe. You don't want to miss this. First, let's kick things off with what we know so far. Venom 3: The Last Dance is the final chapter in this Venom trilogy, and rumors suggest it's going to be the darkest one yet. Tom Hardy is back as Eddie Brock, of course, with the ever-terrifying Venom. But what's more exciting is the cryptic title, The Last Dance. It suggests that this may be Eddie Brock and Venom's final fight together, or perhaps their ultimate showdown with a bigger threat. What could that threat be? We'll get to that in a bit. Let's jump into some predictions. Venom's story has always been about survival, identity, and bonding with Eddie Brock. But with the title The Last Dance, we could be looking at a finale where Eddie's bond with Venom is truly tested. My big prediction? We might see Eddie Brock separated from the Venom symbiote, maybe even for good. But let's talk about the possible big bad for Venom 3, Knull, the god of symbiotes. For those unfamiliar with Knull, he's one of the most terrifying villains in Marvel Comics. Knull is the primordial being who created the symbiotes long before the universe as we know it even existed. In the comics, he wielded a weapon called the All Black, the first symbiote, and waged war on gods and mortals alike. Knull was imprisoned by his own creations, the symbiotes, but now, he's back and ready to reclaim control. If you thought Venom was dangerous, Knull is on another level. We got some hints in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, especially with the red tendrils and references to the hive mind. Bringing Knull to the big screen would raise the stakes to a cosmic level, which fits with the darker, apocalyptic tone hinted in the title The Last Dance. This could be the ultimate battle for Venom, and if Knull enters the scene, Eddie Brock might not stand a chance without some serious backup. Now let's talk about the different forms Venom could take in Venom 3. We know that Venom has evolved throughout the comics, and there are a few exciting possibilities for how he might transform in this movie. In the comics, after Eddie Brock, Venom eventually bonds with Flash Thompson, becoming the anti-hero Agent Venom. Flash Thompson, a former soldier, gains control of the symbiote and uses it for more tactical, mission-driven purposes. Could we see a version of Agent Venom introduced in The Last Dance? It would be a great twist, especially if Eddie becomes separated from Venom and Flash steps in as a new host. One of the most intriguing forms of Venom is Anti-Venom, which occurs when the symbiote is altered to become a healing and an anti-symbiote force. This happens after Eddie Brock undergoes treatment for cancer, and his body reacts with the symbiote in a new way. Anti-Venom is white and has powers that can actually cleanse people of symbiote infections. If Eddie and Venom split in The Last Dance, we could see the emergence of Anti-Venom as a new form that opposes the symbiote army, especially if Knull comes into play. In Venom, Let There Be Carnage, we got a hint of Toxin, the offspring of Carnage, when Detective Patrick Mulligan's eyes glowed at the end of the film. In the comics, Toxin is even stronger than Venom and Carnage and has a unique blend of both symbiotes' abilities. If Mulligan's character returns in Venom 3, we could see him take on the Toxin symbiote, making him either a new ally or a potential threat. With the rise of multiverse stories in Marvel, Venom 3 could also explore the concept of venomized versions of existing characters. Imagine a multiverse where familiar heroes like Captain America or Iron Man have bonded with symbiotes. In the comics, the Venomverse storyline explores alternate versions of Venom across different realities, and Sony could bring this to life in the final chapter of Venom's story. This opens up endless possibilities, and with Knull possibly leading an army of symbiotes, we could even see Venom evolve into a form we haven't yet imagined. One of the most exciting aspects of Venom 3 could be how it sets up Venom's crossover with other Marvel heroes. We already know from the post-credits scene of Spider-Man: No Way Home that Venom has briefly crossed paths with the MCU, leaving behind a small piece of symbiote. This opens the door for some epic future interactions. So, let's dive into a few predictions on how Venom could cross over with other Marvel heroes. The most obvious crossover that everyone's been waiting for is Venom and Spider-Man. Now, we might not get a full-blown face-off in The Last Dance, but we could see some major hints dropped. Venom has always been Spider-Man's dark mirror, a more brutal and chaotic reflection of Peter Parker. With Tom Holland's Spider-Man now dealing with a more mature, post-multiverse world, we could see him square off against Venom down the line. Imagine Venom versus Spider-Man in a future MCU movie, with the symbiote affecting Peter's mind like in Spider-Man 3. That would be an epic clash. If The Last Dance introduces Knull and dives deeper into the darker, supernatural elements of the Marvel Universe, Venom could also be a perfect fit for the Midnight Suns. The Midnight Suns are a team of supernatural heroes, including characters like Blade, Ghost Rider, and Doctor Strange. If Knull's storyline brings a more cosmic, supernatural threat to the MCU, Venom could find himself teaming up with heroes like Blade or even facing off against supernatural enemies in the future. While it may sound unlikely, there's also the chance that Venom could cross paths with the Avengers. In the comics, Venom has actually worked with various members of the Avengers, especially during cosmic events like Absolute Carnage and King in Black. If Knull arrives in Venom 3, the cosmic nature of the threat could draw the attention of Earth's mightiest heroes. Imagine Eddie Brock reluctantly teaming up with someone like Doctor Strange or Captain Marvel to take on Knull. It's a crossover we might not expect, but it could be teased in the post-credits scene or even lead into a bigger cosmic storyline. Alright, now for the part you've all been waiting for, the latest trailer breakdown. Sony just dropped the official trailer for Venom 3, The Last Dance, and it's packed with insane action, cryptic hints, and even a few surprises. Let's go through some of the key moments. First off, the trailer opens with Eddie Brock visibly struggling to control Venom, more than we've ever seen before. This might be setting the stage for some tension between the two, perhaps even leading to their separation. There's a mysterious new antagonist shown briefly, a figure surrounded by dark energy, which could be a direct nod to Knull or another symbiote-related villain. Then we see a quick cut to what looks like a battle in a futuristic-looking city. Could this be another universe or timeline? With all the multiverse elements we've been getting in recent Marvel films, this could hint that The Last Dance has multiversal stakes. One of the most exciting parts of the trailer? That quick shot of a symbiote army. It looks like Venom won't be fighting just one enemy, but a legion of them. This raises the possibility of Knull leading his army of symbiotes to Earth, which would be an epic showdown. Now let's talk about Venom's connection to the wider Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Post-credits scene in Spider-Man: No Way Home? Venom briefly appeared in the MCU before getting teleported back, leaving behind a tiny piece of symbiote. This leaves us with the exciting possibility of Venom's storyline weaving into the MCU and potentially interacting with Spider-Man. We might not see Venom and Spider-Man face off in The Last Dance, but this movie could drop some major hints or post-credits scenes that set up their future confrontation. And hey, if Tom Holland's Spider-Man shows up? That would be the ultimate fan service. Alright, let's move on to some potential Easter eggs. Every Marvel movie loves to sneak in those little details that comic fans can pick up on. In Venom 3, we might see nods to classic Venom storylines. For example, there could be Easter eggs related to Maximum Carnage, one of the most iconic Venom arcs in the comics. Since Carnage was technically defeated in Venom 2, we could see the symbiote offspring take on a different form, maybe even a tease of Toxin, who we saw briefly in the second film. Also, with the multiverse being such a major focus in Marvel right now, we could get a glimpse of alternate versions of Venom or symbiote hosts. Perhaps we'll see a version of Flash Thompson as Agent Venom or even an anti-hero Venom from another universe. To wrap things up, Venom 3, The Last Dance is shaping up to be a major turning point not just for Eddie Brock and Venom, but possibly for the entire Marvel and Sony universes. Whether it's the introduction of Knull, more Spider-Man crossovers, or a full-on Sinister Six, this movie has the potential to open up a lot of exciting storylines for the future. As always, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think we'll see Venom take on Spider-Man, or will Knull be the ultimate villain? And don't forget to like and subscribe for more breakdowns, predictions, and Easter eggs from your favorite Marvel films. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.